and thanks for joining us on the Nigerian Television Authority NTA ILORIN Weekend Report. My name is Abdul Wahid Bibire. First, the highlights. Central Bank of Nigeria says it followed the law and processes in redesigning 3 series of Naira notes. Over 21,000 indigent residents in Kwara State captured for free health insurance scheme. Our discussion segment is on impact of deworming of school-age children towards mental and physical development of pupils, plus update from the world of sports and weather forecast. Details in a moment. And now the news. In an apparent response to claims by the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning that our ministry was not carried along by the Central Bank of Nigeria and CBN in the ongoing processes of redesigning 3 series of Naira, the bank insists it followed the law and due process to carry out the exercise, which is 12 years due. The spokesman of the Apex Bank, Mr. Osita Nwasobi, while speaking with a group of newsmen in Abuja, expressed surprise at the minister's claims, stressing that the CBN remains a very thorough institution that follows due process in its policy actions. According to Nwasobi, the management of CBN, in line with the provisions of Section 2B, Section 18A, and Section 19A and B of the CBN Act 2007, had duly sought and obtained the approval of President Muhammadu Buhari in writing to redesign, produce, release, and circulate new series of 200, 500, and 1,000 Naira bank notes. He, however, urged Nigerians to support the currency redesign project, which is said was in the overall interest of Nigerians and would discourage the hoarding of significant sum of banknotes outside the vaults of commercial banks by some people. On the timing of the redesign project, Nwasobi explained that the CBN had even tarried for too long, considering that it had to wait 20 years to carry out a redesign instead of the global standard practices for central banks to redesign, produce, and circulate new local legal tender every 5 to 8 years. In the meantime, post-flood activities have commenced in some affected communities in Kogi State as victims of the disaster leverage on the receding water to effect cleaning and restoration preparation for a return to normalcy. This is amidst the compromising of buildings and theft. Correspondent Solomon Ayedein reports.
The damage caused by the 2022 flood, particularly in Kogi State, cannot be overemphasized. Never has it been this massive in terms of loss of lives, displacement of families and communities, as well as destruction of public and private property. The effect of the flooding has caused many indigents who are either farmers, fishermen or traders to take refuge in IDP camps away from the comfort of their homes and businesses, hoping on food and other donations from the government and public organizations. Coming to terms with this reality is one too many.
For flood to be disturbing you almost every year is not a good thing. It's stressful.
As the water gradually recedes in some areas of Lokoja metropolis, debris are being cleared, roads and markets opened, while some residents are carrying out cleaning activities prior to return to their homes. This is amidst fear of compromised buildings and theft. The waiting game is still on for those in camps.
I just want to come back to my house once again to stay, but for the main looking of things now, the house is not even all that strong again.
Now, as I come back, I don't wash am. As I come back, I still meet thieves. They don't come out all my windows.
We are clean enough to come back since we don't have anywhere to go to.
The people who help me wash am, now 20,000 and they take wash am for me because poto too much. I no fit enter and wash by myself.
As the water dry, I thank God I come back to my shade here.
Expectations are high as to what will be done by the authorities to prevent a reoccurrence of the disaster, to scale down humanitarian crisis occasioned by the devastation, which is fast becoming a yearly occurrence. In Lokoja, Solomon Ayedehi, NTA News.
21,750 indigent residents of Kwara State have been enrolled into the state free health insurance scheme. Kwara State Governor Abdulrahman Abdulrazak says the scheme is geared towards ensuring universal health coverage in the state. Raliat Ibrahim reports.
The phase 2 of the enrollment into Basic Health Insurance Provision Fund (BHCPF) and Kwara State Health Insurance Scheme brings the total number of indigent persons enrolled to 51,750. The governor, who was represented by the secretary to the state government, Professor Mama Jubril, said the scheme covers antenatal care, deliveries, surgeries, diabetes and asthma, among other chronic and non-chronic illnesses for the beneficiaries.
It is all a culmination of our serious efforts in this sector. Our investments in new medical gadgets, facilities, and personnel have boosted our capacity to offer improved health delivery.
The enrollment is for a year.
Launching access to care attracted donors' contribution from the Islamic Development Bank in 2021 that gave access to additional 4,150 indigent beneficiaries, fully subsidized, while the policies of the initial 10,000 indigents were renewed for another year.
Your Excellency, we commend you for paying counterpart funds, and we commend you for ensuring that Kwara State is not left behind, particularly when we talk about universal health coverage.
Kwara State government launched the scheme in year 2020 to offer quality and affordable health care services to residents in the state. Raliat Ibrahim, NTA News.
A federal high court sitting in Ilorin has nullified the nomination of Rukayat Shitu as candidate of All Progressives Congress in the 2023 State House of Assembly election for Owode Onire constituency of Asa local government area of Kwara State. Abdulafiz Alaya reports that the plaintiff, Ayinde Usman, was declared by the court as the winner of the primary election and rightful candidate of the party.
Ayinde Usman had approached the court to challenge the nomination of Rukayat Shitu as candidate to represent the party in the 2023 House of Assembly election. He wants the court to nullify his replacement with 26-year-old Rukayat and declared him as the duly elected candidate of the ruling party for Owode Onire constituency. However, APC and Rukayat Shitu, through their counsels, filed preliminary objections on the ground that the plaintiff filed the case outside the prescribed 14 days, and this automatically rendered the suit statute bar. The court in its ruling agreed with the plaintiff that the course of action begins on the 14th of July when Rukayat's name was submitted to INEC and not on the day of primary election as argued by the defense. Hence, Justice Mohammed Sani dismissed the objections and assumed jurisdiction on the case. Following a thorough review of facts before the court, the presiding judge held that evidences provided by the first and third defendants are riddled with inconsistencies and could not be relied upon by the courts. He thereby accepted the duly certified report of INEC about the May 26 APC SADO election, which declared the plaintiff as winner. In the absence of any contending reports, the court ruled that the plaintiff won the primary election and remained the candidate that should be nominated to INEC and represent APC in the election, and not Rukayat Shitu. Abdulafiz Alaya, NTA News.
About 300,000 pupils from 11 local government areas of Kwara State will be dewormed in the first phase of the deworming program of school-age children in Kwara State. The program, which is a collaboration between the Kwara State Ministry of Health, Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disasters Management and Social Development, as well as site savers, is aimed at ensuring that the pupils are physically fit for academic activities. Ahmad Fulani reports.
A national homegrown school feeding program, which officially kick-started in Kwara State 1.5 months ago, is a federal and state government joint initiative which provides one nutritious meal for primary 1 to 3 pupils in public schools in the state. 6 weeks after it started, the state government is taking the bull by the horn to deworm the pupils who are the beneficiaries of the school feeding program across the state. The deworming program is aimed at reducing the transmission of infections among the pupils who are the beneficiaries of the National Home School Feeding Program in Kwara State to ensure they are in good health condition. Various speakers, including the representatives of the Kwara State government and the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, harped on the importance of regular deworming, particularly for school-age children, calling on parents to make their children available for regular deworming.
The key objectives of the National Homegrown School Feeding Program are to increase school enrollment, attendance and retention, improve the nutritional and health status of school children.
Member of these dreadful worms is also classified among the group of diseases referred to as neglected tropical diseases, NTDs, and it is of public health importance and a major cause of mortality and morbidity.
63 wards in 11 LGs, which are classified as highly and moderately endemic with schistosomiasis, will be treated for schistosomiasis with free, safe, and effective praziquantel.
To enable the food, the nutrients you're expecting to nourish the system to hold through the administration of the drug.
After serving the breakfast, then comes the official flag off of the deworming program by the Kwara State Commissioner for Health, Dr. Raji Razak. 10-year-old Abdulganiyu Mustafa, who is one of the beneficiaries of the school feeding program, is delighted to have eaten the meal and been dewormed, calling on government to sustain the program.
The food is good. Appreciate government. The food is very delicious and I like it.
Control of this disease can be achieved by environmental management, health education, and use of praziquantel.
Apart from providing food for the pupils to improve their learning, the National Home School Feeding Program also provides job opportunity to some caterers in the state. Ahmad Fulani, NTA News.
The report on deworming of school-age children is the focus of our discussion segment tonight on NTA ILORIN Weekend Report. And already the guest is in the studio. He is Dr. Kadiri Moses of the Department of Microbiology, University of Ilorin Teaching Hospital. Dr. Kadiri Moses, it's good to have you on NTA ILORIN Weekend Report.
Thank you, sir. Good having me here.
All right. Federal and state government recently launched the school feeding program in almost the 36 states of the Federation. And here in Kwara State, just 6 weeks ago, the program was launched, and now the pupils are being dewormed. But before we go into the deworming process, what is your take of this school feeding program generally? What is your assessment of it?
Yeah, school feeding program is a very laudable effort by the state government. It's highly encouraging. The reason is because we have discovered that worm infestation and undernutrition are very key public health burden on school children. And so undernutrition will not make the child grow the way the child is supposed to be and the mental capacity of the child to so. Coming up with feeding program is a very encouraging event because some pupils might not have the means to take something while in school, and some are for that reason they are out of school because if they go to school today and they don't have the means of taking anything, by 11, 12 they are feeling hungry. Tomorrow, when they now come back home that day, tomorrow when they are supposed to go, because of the hunger experience they have the previous day, they will refuse to go.
So in a nutshell, you are saying that this school feeding program will definitely encourage school enrollment of basic schools?
Definitely, it will really encourage, especially for the less privileged and economic, those with poor economic background that may not have the means of giving something to the children. It's like the government has taken over So the child will be encouraged, because once you go to school, you will have something to take, and you'll be okay to listen to whatever activity will be going on in the school. So it will really encourage enrollment.
Now that deworming is being carried out, particularly in Kwara State, is there any need to even deworm the pupils? And of what benefit is this deworming exercise to the mental development and growth of the pupils?
Yes, among this age bracket, these pupils, children, especially between the age of 2 to 10, at that stage, it's a stage of mental development, critical mental development in them. And so once they lack some of the vital elements and nutrients that they need to build their mental capacity, it will become a problem. Now, this problem is in twofold. One is the undernutrition, which, thank God, the government is tackling with the feeding program. The second is this deworming. It's very important because worm infestation actually causes a lot of havoc among these children. It deprives the child of the basic macronutrients and even micro elements that the child needs for mental development. Talk of iron, talk of zinc, talk of magnesium, talk of calcium, even sodium and potassium that
helps the body system.
Yes, all this helps is what the body needs for the child to grow holistically. But when worms are there, these worms, they deprive the body of the child of getting this nutrient because they cause anemia, they cause malabsorption, they cause diarrhea. So the body could not really utilize and absorb these things, and it affects their mental capacity.
So deworming of these pupils is the right step in the right direction?
Very, very, very right direction.
Ordinarily, are you saying that because like a layman, the thing is that maybe we need worms in our system for one reason or the other, or ordinarily we don't need worm in our system?
Well, what a layman may call worm might be different from what we think medically. In some balances, they believe that all these enzymes in our system and some bacteria in our system that helps naturally, they have their own role in the system. They think it's worm, but no. What we call worm are actually parasites, and these parasites, they produce negative effects on the child because they affect the intestinal component of the child. It deprives the child of the body nutrients, and it go down the way in depriving their mental capacity, their ability to learn, their cognitive capacity at that early age of life.
So in a nutshell, in a layman balance, we don't need worm in our system.
We don't need worm. They are
Then
parasites.
how come we are infested with worm?
These worms, they are gotten from our environment because of the pollution and the hygiene level of our environment that is not too good. Their eggs are in the environment, and once it gets contaminated with the water and the food that we are taking, it goes into the body, and there it hatches and develop and grow into adult worms, male and female, where they now reproduce and be producing enough egg again. And so when a child goes to toilet, that egg follows the stool to the toilet. And in our environment, there are a lot of open defecation, there's no good toilet system. So that egg in that stool find its way, whether through rain, whether through air, come to the environment again, mingle with what we are eating, and the cycle continue. And the infestation burden will now be increasing in the child. So it's actually from the contamination of the food or water that we get all those worms into the system.
How often, Dr. Kadri, do we get our system dewormed? Particularly these school age children.
Yes, according to WHO, deworming should be annually, once in a year or twice, once in 2 years. But some experts, they also believe that, especially in these endemic areas, developing countries, that the burden of worms is too heavy, that it's good to deworm a child twice in a year, every 6 months.
What are the procedures? If you want to deworm, if we just go to the patent medicine store and just say, I want to buy the worm drug or syrup, or is there any procedure for deworming the system?
Yes.
Medically?
Medically, you You know, you always have a symptoms you present with. A doctor will see you, and the doctor will get to know if it's a worm problem. You will do investigation, check the stool, and once there's worm, you'll be the one that will prescribe the drug for you. But the good thing is the school program that the government is doing. You know, is a very nice one that you're able to capture a lot of school age group. Ordinarily, most of them are not present in the hospital, and they may carry this thing in the school and be spreading it among themselves, and it will be affecting them. So with this education that government is going about now, it's a good procedure. You educate the populace, you educate the parents, they know, then you now go to school, arrange, and at a regular interval, you carry out your deworming activities among the pupils.
Okay, is there any health implications for failure not to deworm worms system?
Yes, because those worms have negative effects on for a child especially. It affects their mental development. They are very slow, they are very sluggish in their thinking, and they are always dull. You know, a lot of research has been done, and they discovered that those worm infestation actually affects children and even adults. It can cause intestinal obstruction and causes a lot of problem in the system, and some people may have stomach problem from there and can even result to death. So it's not a small thing, it's a serious thing that even as adults you need to deworm from time to time, because it flushes your system of the negative consequences of these parasites.
All right, this program now for sustainability and to achieve the objective of putting up the program for school age bracket, what are those mechanisms you will suggest for government to put in place for the sustainability of this deworming exercise?
Health education is very, very important. Public enlightenment, and let the parents know the importance of deworming in these children. By the time they are aware of it, then the government can now go ahead and see how they can liaise with school. Through the Ministry of Health, they will liaise with school to see how they can have a proper coverage of all these schools children, and from time at regular interval come around and give them this deworming tablet and deworm all those children. With that, the burden will be reduced.
Is there any role the non-governmental organization can also play in these deworming exercises, so that we're not left it in the hands of government alone to get our children or the society free of worms?
Of course, it's a very nice point. The non-governmental organization can come to the aid of the government. Even philanthropists, they can come to the aid of the government. Those are enlightened about the importance of this issue, so that whenever government is not having enough resources to carry this out, they can help out, and the program can be steady and regular, and so reduce the disease burden among these children and improve their mental capacity and development.
All right, finally, what is your advice to parents and guardians on constant deworming of their children?
I want parents to know that worms infestation has a devastating effect on the child, especially the pupils. So please let them allow their child to be dewormed regularly, and even if it's not about the school, let them from time to time take their children for checkup and let them know that their children are not harboring any worm. It helps them in their mental development and in their physical development.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kadiri Moses, for finding time to join us. We really appreciate your time. We hope next time when we invite you, you're going to respond to our invitation.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure. God bless.
NTA ILORIN Weekend Report continues after this time out.
Sports Zone. This is your sports rendezvous, happening in the world of sports you deserve to know. You want it analyzed? Sports Zone on NTA ILORIN, both local and international. You get the breaking news and the history, analyzing with brilliant sports exponents, live every Wednesday, 9 to 9:30 in the morning. That's the time for your wonderful moment in sports infotainment. Sports Zone. Join us. Let's set the agenda.
On our sports, President of Nigerian Volleyball Federation, Musa Nimrod, has promised that his administration will uncover more young talents in the 6 geopolitical zones of the country for the various categories of the national volleyball team. Ahmad Fulani has the details.
Nimrod disclosed this during the closing ceremony of the 2022 National Division 1 and 2 Volleyball Leagues held at the Indoor Sport Hall of the Ahmadu Bello Stadium in Kaduna on Friday. According to him, one of the mandates of the current NVBF board is to ensure the young players have the opportunity to play volleyball, adding that the federation would continue to provide an enabling environment for young players to thrive. Aruna Quadri's stay at this year's WTT Cup finals lasted for less than an hour after the African champion was brought down by Chinese Lin Yunju in the first round of the men's singles at Pingyua Sports Center. Being their second meeting on the international stage, the Asian star dominated the entire encounter, claiming a quick win with the first 2 games at 11-4 and 11-6. Aruna remains the only African to have featured in the WTT Cup finals since its inception in 2021. Arsenal for the first time relinquished their stay on top of the English Premier League without kicking a ball yet, following Manchester City's 1-0 away win at Leicester City this afternoon. The result means the Pep Guardiola side are now a point ahead of the Gunners, at least for the next 24 hours, pending the time Arsenal will play Nottingham Forest at home, with a win returning Arsenal to the top again. With sports update, Ahmad Fulani, NTA News.
Here is the weather forecast for Sunday 30th of October 2022. And that weather forecast wraps it up on NTA ILORIN Weekend Report. Thanks for being part of the show. Good night.